On the 24th of April 2024, many newspapers covered a report from Daniel Hammond of The Sun about the French police seeming to puncture a migrant dinghy on the French coast. Before discussing that, come back with us to 2022.
In June 2022, police arrived on the scene of a launching on the French coast near Calais and waded into the water as a small boat loaded with migrants was heading out towards England. They slashed the rubber boat, sinking it, and the migrants were left in the sea and had to wade back to the beach. A French campaign group called Utopia 56 said, "This was a nasty incident. There could have been loss of life." The group made a formal representation to the Défense des droits, the French authority that rules on human rights issues. After hearing their case, a formal warning was sent to the French National Police and gendarmes, and a subsequent notice from France's Departmental Board of the National Police, issued on August 26, 2022, banned officers from targeting boats already in the water. People smugglers swiftly responded, and now, instead of taking dinghies to the beach by road and inflating them on the sand as before, gangs now pilot empty boats along the coast, in order then to pick up groups of migrants waiting further along the shore, at pre-arranged spots.
Well, James Daly is the Conservative MP for Bury North and a member of the Home Affairs Select Committee who, with his committee last week, visited the scene in France. James, what did you see there?
Well, we're lucky enough to go to the beaches, we're lucky enough to speak to the French authorities, French politicians, and the pitch was stark, Tom, in all honesty. We were told, if the boat goes in the water with the migrants going into it, it could be in 1 foot of water. The French were very clear, they will not stop it. It could be in 1 foot of, literally 1 foot of water. Once it is on the water, they say they cannot stop it, and off it goes. The French politicians were very clear, all of them. They are not going to do a returns agreement, either bilaterally or through the European Union. Gerald Darmanin, who's one of the candidates, Sarkozy's interior minister, has made it very clear that he feels that he will lose the presidential election if that's the case. So there's no returns agreement at all in place. The only way that it can be dealt with, and the French again were very clear about this, people are convinced that there is an El Dorado on this side of the channel. So the French, whether that's the military or the politicians, say, you've got to sort it out at your end. You've got to have a deterrent that is going to stop people going over to the United Kingdom.
Now, let's see what's going on today. French politicians have told the police to significantly ramp up their efforts after 5 migrants, including a 7-year-old girl, were killed after a rival group armed with sticks and knives stormed their dinghy on Tuesday. 3 days later, The Sun reported that, as an empty dinghy approached the shore, as usual, to pick up some migrants, cops moved in. In the confusion, the waves brought the boat close to the shore, where one police officer managed to deflate it by stabbing its rubber hull with a knife. However, the police ultimately failed when a second empty dinghy arrived just 15 minutes later. Despite the police's efforts with tear gas, this time the dinghy stayed away from the beach and cops failed to stop the migrants, who waded out to board the vessel and made for England. We can be sure that charities and human rights lawyers will be making representations to the French government. Meanwhile, The Sun was told, "It's an impossible task. There are just too many boats now. It's like playing whack-a-mole. You stop one boat and then another arrives.